The narcissist's entire psychological architecture depends on external validation to maintain structural integrity, making their victim far more than just a romantic partner. They become a life support system for a fundamentally unstable sense of self. Without this crucial supply source, the narcissist's carefully constructed identity begins to crumble like a house built on shifting sand. Their victim doesn't simply provide love, they provide the essential psychological oxygen that keeps the narcissist's false self alive and functioning. The emotional regulation they cannot provide themselves. The narcissist suffers from a profound developmental wound that left them incapable of self-soothing or managing their own emotional states. Their victim becomes their external nervous system, absorbing their anxiety, processing their rage, and converting their chaos into manageable emotions. This creates a parasitic dependency where the narcissist literally cannot function without someone else managing their internal world. When distressed, the narcissist instinctively turns to their victim for emotional regulation rather than developing internal coping mechanisms. They project their feelings onto their partner, expecting them to not only absorb the negative emotions but transform them into something bearable. This process becomes so automatic that the narcissist loses all awareness of where they end and their victim begins, creating a psychological fusion that feels essential to their survival. Without their victim's emotional labor, the narcissist experiences overwhelming internal chaos. They become flooded with feelings they cannot name, process, or resolve independently. Their victim's absence creates a psychological emergency where the narcissist faces the full weight of their unprocessed trauma, abandonment fears, and existential emptiness without their usual buffer. The mirror that reflects their false perfection. The narcissist's sense of self exists primarily as a reflection in their victim's eyes, rather than as an internal stable identity. Their victims' love and admiration become the foundation upon which they build their entire self-concept. Without this reflecting mirror, they lose all sense of who they are or what they're worth, experiencing a kind of psychological death that terrifies them beyond measure. Their victim's perception of them becomes more real than their own self-awareness. They depend on their partner's reactions to gauge their own value, success, and desirability. This creates a desperate need to control how their victim sees them, as any shift in perception threatens their entire sense of reality. They become addicted to the version of themselves that exists in their victim's mind. The narcissist cannot generate self-worth independently because they never developed a genuine relationship with themselves. They exist primarily as a performance for their victim's benefit, and without an audience, the performance loses all meaning. Their victim's withdrawal of attention creates an existential crisis where they question not just their worth, but their very existence. The functional life manager they desperately need. Beyond emotional support, the narcissist often becomes completely dependent on their victim to manage the practical aspects of adult life. Their victim handles responsibilities, makes decisions, manages relationships, and maintains the infrastructure that allows the narcissist to focus solely on their image and immediate desires. This functional dependency runs so deep that the narcissist literally cannot imagine navigating life alone. The victim becomes the narcissist's executive assistant, therapist, cheerleader, and life coach rolled into one indispensable package. They handle everything from social obligations to financial planning, allowing the narcissist to remain in a state of psychological infancy where their only responsibility is maintaining their grandiose self-image. Without their victim's management, the narcissist's life quickly descends into chaos. They cannot maintain relationships, handle stress, or make complex decisions without their emotional and practical support system. The narcissist doesn't just want their victim, they literally cannot function as an independent adult without them, making their departure feel like a death sentence rather than a simple breakup.